So what we're going to do today is Amy's going to walk through the system for you, and she's going to try and equip you with the skills and knowledge to be able to use the CRM. But you're not going to be experts, as I said. So Amy's going to walk you through an example, have a look at the example. But the real way to do this is to get on and practice. Okay, do as much as you possibly can on Acre, and then it will become familiar. And Amy's working behind the scenes as well on lots and lots of development. So as that comes in, we'll make sure you're aware of that. What we're going to look at today is how you complete a fact find within Acre. You still use some of the PMI fact find as well, and Amy's going to go through that with you, what you do in Acre, what you do on a fact find as well. Client portal, we'll just show you how you give access to the client portal. Whether you choose to use that or not is entirely up to you as a business. There are advantages of it, but if you don't use the portal, then you'll still have to do things the way that you do them now. Electronic IDV, PEPs and sanction checks we'll come to in a second. And we need to be able to show you how to create and publish that suitability report. So again, whether or not you're adding it to Acre and sending it to your client, we need to be able to show that we've created it, and we need to evidence that the client's had it, whether that's via the client portal, so whether you're uploading one and doing it by the client portal, or whether you're sending it via email. We're going to have a look at some policy changes in a second, and then we'll have a recap and we'll talk about next steps. So that's how the day is going to go. So policy changes relating to PMI. Terms of business IDD, we switched to using the Acre IDD, so that's automatically generated within the system. Okay, so if you've got something like a welcome pack and you've got terms of business in there, no problem, you continuing using the welcome pack as long as it's been signed off by financial promotions, but take your terms of business out. Your terms of business is now produced by Acre. We need to validate ID. And I'll go through some reasons as to why in a second, but we need to validate ID in all cases. So we need to make sure that when we're talking to our clients, we've got 3 years address history, we understand the marital status, whether it's single, joint, we understand the country of birth and their citizenship. Expected retirement age, I believe, is going to be removed, but at the moment, it's still part of that. And then we need to make sure that we're running the ID check. Now, this is all about us being able to validate who the person is that we're dealing with, and also that we've checked that they're not a politically exposed person and they're not on any sanctions list. So irrespective of the product type, we need to do that. And we'll show you that when we get in there. And it's all around making sure that we identify that individual and we make sure that we know who they are. The main reason we're doing it is politically exposed people and sanctions legislation. So we're going to need to do that. We'll show you how to do it. There isn't any cost involved in doing it for you. So, and there are some basic details of what you need to put into the case to do that. Okay. I can see questions popping up. If Amy or Bippin can answer those questions as we go along, they will. If not, we'll pick them up as an appropriate point. Okay. We're going to look at the reason why letter, make sure you're documenting that you've sent it. So whether you send it via the portal, whether you send it via email, encrypted email, and then upload that email is entirely up to you and your business process, but we still need to look at how that's done. We're going to talk about the removal of the RPQ, the replacement policy questionnaire, and what you need to do in order to, if you are replacing a plan, to still cover off the fact that you're replacing a plan and the client needs to be aware of certain things. I'll show you a paragraph in a second that will drop into the suitability report that sort of alleviates the need for the RPQ. And then we're going to talk about CPD logging. You no longer log your is that even English? You no longer put your CPD on the key. You will log it via the advisor site, and we'll show you how to do that a little bit later on. And I'll also show you when we get into the website, a page on the website that's got pretty much everything that you would need from an Acre perspective and a PMI perspective. And of course, if you've got other authorizations, there's stuff on there as well. Okay. So going forward, there is no need for a replacement policy questionnaire. We have taken away that need. The need was there, and we need to still demonstrate to our clients that if they replace a policy, there's advantages and disadvantages. This paragraph that you can see on the screen, and when Amy's into the existing policy, she'll show you how you generate this paragraph if it's appropriate. It is just literally a tick in a box, but she'll show you how you generate this paragraph if it's appropriate when we're in Acre. And really, it's just making sure that your clients are fully aware of the advantages and the disadvantages, and making sure that they are aware that if they cancel a plan before the new plan's on risk, etc., etc. So the paragraph will drop in, and that will cover you, but it is bare minimum. So you still, and nobody will judge you if you do this. You still might want to put together an advantage and a disadvantage. You might want to add them into your suitability report if it's appropriate, and you can. Nobody's going to stop you doing that. Nobody's saying you can't do that. It's just previously part of the advice process was to get an RPQ signed. And if you couldn't get them signed because the clients just didn't bother or whatever the case was, then you weren't allowed to follow the process. So we've tried to alleviate that and take that out of the equation, because sometimes you can't control that, and drop this paragraph in. Okay. So there's some questions popped up, and I think Bipin's answered them. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Bipin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you over to Amy, who's going to walk through some case studies with us. So I think I need to stop sharing my screen, Amy, so that you can share yours. And Amy's going to walk through ACRE and walk through a case study with us and demonstrate really how easy it is to put these cases on ACRE and some of the things that you need to look out for. And I think she's also potentially, I'm probably putting her on the spot here, going to talk to us about some developments that's on the way as well. Okay, so you should be able to see Amy's screen now. I can see it. So thanks, Amy. Over to you.
I'm not speaking, and I was thinking then, I was like, I don't know why I'm actually not speaking, Marla. Just there smiling away, trying to make my camera. So can you see my screen right now?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, brilliant. So, hello everybody. Thank you, Aidan, for that introduction. We have got loads of really, really exciting things planned with ACRE, as Aidan said. There are elements of it right now that aren't where we want them to be, but that we will try and we're working on that. So any feedback that you guys have is always really, really helpful. So if I just show you a bit about what ACRE looks like, you've got your dashboard. So on your dashboard section, some people will be able to see the dashboard, some people won't. Tends to be if you sell protection as well, you will be able to see that there. But if you scroll down, you've got all your business splits, so you can see how much you're doing, which providers you're doing it with. Right? Sorry. So you can see which providers you're doing it with, any flags, any cancellations, etc., etc. So you've got a really nice kind of demonstration there of your business overview. There's two ways to access a client. So either we can go into our clients or we can go into our cases. So if you go into clients and then create a new client, this is the way to obviously create your client. So if I go in and create one. This is me. It is my 30th birthday on Monday. Any presents you can just send to the office. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so here you can see got really basic data capture of your client, and then we can just add that client. So now Amy Gary is going to be there within my clients. If you have got any clients that have already come over from the key, so if you've already got them saved in there, most of you should do, but there was a bit of a there's a bit of a lag on getting everybody over and just making sure they're all correct. But anybody else that you do have, if you just go into your search bar and search, for example, Gary, you'll be able to see how many test cases I've created for myself. So you can see there your clients either in the search or by going into clients and then creating your client. I've just decided I'm going to redo ever so slightly the order of which I've done this, and that's because of Holly's question that she's put into the chat. So as you all know, there's three ways to do a renewal, a piece of renewal business. Either you cannot contact your client at all whatsoever. You've contacted your client and they've said, go away. They've said, I've got an Apple Watch and I don't want to talk to you again. They've got medical issues, whatever it is. So you've kind of got that middle ground of, I have had a conversation with them. I might have started doing a bit of a fact find, but it's not going to go anywhere and it's going to be staying with the same provider. Or you've got a full review, and either from that review, you've made adjustments, you've given full advice to recommend to stay with that provider or to switch. So what I'm going to start with is the first two. So if you have got a client that you have done a not advised renewal on, What we want you to do is get the not advised renewal letter. I'm sure everybody already has their own that is active and kind of, you know, working for you right now. We're not expecting you to make any changes to that at all. We just want you to use that same one. And in your client level, so this is the upper client level, we just want you to go into documents and upload that demands and needs into here. Okay, so that's all we need you to do, and that looks exactly like it would do on the key. So I've got my my demands and needs here, and what we're going to call it is the statement. So we're going to call it statement of need. Okay, upload document, and for a not advised renewal, that is all you have to do. Okay, so really nice and easy. Find your client, go into the document and upload that letter that says, I tried to contact you and I couldn't, or I tried to contact you and I spoke to you, and for this reason, we will not be doing a review this year. Okay, does that make sense? If anybody has any questions, please crack on and put them into the chat box, but hopefully that should look relatively easy. So we're just going into clients and finding our client, searching our client. If for whatever reason we've got this bit of time at the moment where clients aren't in the way that you want them to be or anything like that, and you want to create them, you saw how easy it was to go in and just create that client. So that is all we need from you, and then it will just be uploaded in there as your statement of need. Okay, so I'm going to crack on and assume that there's no other questions. And now we're going to go through a full review. So this is obviously, I've spoken to Amy and she would like us to probably end up switching the policy that she already has. So again, we can search for our client either by looking in the search bar, we can look in clients and find them from there, and then we get into our client. And this is my client, Amy Gary. So this client is a brand new client. I haven't actually put any information in for her. If I had already got the information, it would have been pulling through a lot of the information from the previous time that I spoke to them. So create new case. So as we can see here, we've got Amy Wilson, Amy Gary in here. If she wasn't in here, we can actually search for it in another way, and we can do that by clicking create new case in the top right-hand corner. So that then will create the case view, which in here now I can go and search Amy Gary. So this is the one that we've just created, and we're going to create it as a health and protection sale. Okay, it needs to be a pre-recommendation here, and you need to ensure that no fee is selected in the fee scenario. If you haven't already set up your fees, then please get in touch with the customer service department and they can help you with getting those fees set up. So then we're just going to create case. Aidan, do you just want to confirm about this bit? Sorry,
yeah. Somebody's asked also, can you just slow down a little bit? I
Oh,
think
sorry, okay.
I think no, you've got to remember there might be internet lag for people as well. So just confirm your IDD Amy's just clicked on is a verbal disclosure document. So when that comes up, if you've had the conversation with your client and you've spoken to them about the IDD and your business and what you're going to do, which generally you would, someone wouldn't just do business with you without understanding what you do, then you click on that little box that Amy showed you and confirm it. Just go back and create a new case, Amy. It's probably easier.
So as I said, so if you go into cases and then create new case, so on top right hand corner right now, and create new case, I then go into my cases.
Yeah, so then select your case type and then carry on as you did. Yeah.
Exactly, Joe. Yeah, so I've just managed to put the chat next to where I can actually see what's going on. So yes, so the cases is the exact same as a product, although it's a lot more intuitive. So within now your case, you're going to have your individual fact finds. Your fact find information is stored in your client, so it will pull through the information if, you know, next year. Yeah, so it does work similarly. Kelly has just said about the health and protection not being in your case type. I'm not sure why you haven't got it in yours. You definitely should do. But that was a change that they made last night. So hopefully they haven't just done it for mine to make me happy.
No, it is on everybody's because it's on mine.
I'm not sure. Can Aiden ask him? Okay, so we're in clients. We went on to create cases. We've got health and protection. I've added my client. If you want to add, for example, we want to add Callum in here, and Callum's already one of my existing clients. I can just search Callum and add him like that. Really nice and easy if we've got 2 people on the policy. However, in this example, I'm just going to do it for myself. And then, as Aidan said, you've got your verbal disclosure. So your terms of business has now been replaced with an IDD, and this is your IDD. I'm not going to expect you to sit and read all of this out. It is obviously your IDD, and you should know exactly how to present your IDD. If you have spoken it out to your client, then you tick it. If you haven't, then you don't. If you don't tick it and you are using the client portal, it will send it to your client via the client portal as well. We are now in our client, we're in our case. So like Joe said, does it work like products on the key? And I would actually say no, it works a lot more intuitively. So it's almost like this is a really fair representation of the whole conversation that we're going to have. So each year, and we're just working with the ACRE at the moment to be able to replicate the products when it comes to renewals and things like that as well. So that's obviously going to be pushed slightly down. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue for you. But you've got your client overview. So I'm looking now at everything that I need to do. It's giving me tasks. It's giving me information about the client, and I can send the client portal link here. So if I want to send Amy the client portal, I just click send invite. And now everybody pay attention, because this is an important part. If you don't want the client to do a credit report, then you need to toggle off refer for a client a credit report. However, I think it's a fantastic little tool. It's free. So you can say to your client, now, one of the benefits of using the right mortgage is that you're able to access the client, you're able to access your credit report at all times within our client portal. What the credit report does is it brings through any expenditure that your client has. So if they do it, you're able to find out a little bit more about their insurances, potentially about their, their mortgage situation as well. So it's just going to be able to help you cross-refer potentially if that's what you want to do. However, I understand that not everybody wants to be able to do that. So if you want to switch it off, you just switch it off and then send invite. And the invite will be sent as a from yourselves, so it does look very nice and friendly. I would say for everybody, set yourself up as a test client and then have a play with it as a test client for you, so that then you're able to see really what it looks like for your customer. So no, Paul, the credit report isn't mandatory. Okay, so firstly, we're going to go into the fact find. So the first section of the fact find is case details, and it's asking, have you seen your client face to face, and is it introduced? So at this point, especially while we're learning the system, I would say potentially stay away from answering this, because if you do, it's going to ask you who's introduced them. The introducer client portal is really smart as well, and it gives your introducers updates on all of your cases. So if at some point, down the line, you want to have more training on the introducer portal, definitely do it and use it. But at this point, I'm just going to say no, it's not introduced. And then, have you seen your clients face to face? So obviously you can say yes or no. And if you say no, it's going to ask if you have seen them face to face. Okay. So now we're in our fact find. So you have in the bottom left-hand corner, if everyone can see my mouse, show missing. And I would always recommend to have that show missing toggled on, and then it's going to tell you any of the sections that you haven't, any of the information that you need that's mandatory. So for everybody that is potentially going to complain about information that they're asking on this page here, I will just openly say it. I understand that, you know, there's new questions that we're going to be asking in here. If you've got show missing on, it's going to stop you from answering them all. So that's going to be really helpful. The new mandatory fields that we've got is marital status, citizenship, which actually shouldn't be a new question because everybody should have been asking it anyway since we brought in the new rules about the Ukraine and Russian citizenship. And then we've got expected retirement age. So I would put on this for everybody at this time 66. It's going to block it off and then you've just done it and you can move on. I appreciate that's not the best case scenario, but it is something that they're working on removing as a mandatory field for PMI cases. Is your client vulnerable? If you say yes, it's going to bring down a drop-down box with options to be able to add in here. And then obviously you've got a little text box to be able to provide any further information about vulnerability. So as Aidan said, okay, so what we've done is we've applied yes to being a vulnerable customer and given the reason why. And then, as Aidan said, I'll show you in a bit how to remove that flag. Aidan might have to help us, but
yeah,
I should be able
okay.
to do it. Okay, and then now address history. So I know it is a big question asking people when they moved in. It doesn't have to be specific. It can be, you know, broad, just month and year. That does definitely work for the getting it approved. So I'm actually going to show everybody my address just so that you can see from this purposes what it looks like. So I'm going to put in B95 5HS. Close, and I moved in around July 2020. Okay, and then residential status, I'm an owner, so save that. I have had quite a lot of feedback from the advisors that are already asking address history, and on address history asking and moving in dates, and a lot of people have said it's been really fine to ask. Actually, it was one of those scenarios where it's probably you wind yourself up a little bit more, whereas when you just say what's your address, brilliant, what was the date that you moved in, it actually doesn't feel that bad when you kind of flow it into the conversation. Okay, so once we've got our fact find information, we jump into the ID verification and click run checks. So like you can see here, it's now come back verified, no matches, absolutely fine, and we can just move on. So that is us asking for ID. Okay, so that is obviously going to be one of the biggest changes that we have. But hopefully I've shown you that it's actually quite easy. And when you start running through it, it's really quick. You get used to it really quickly as well. Income, so you just need to add income not in employment. They are going to add the same category here that says not required. That is in production and that will be for August. So I have seen that in my version of that already. So that is there ready to go. But for the minute, just put not in employment. And we know that because it's a PMI case, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we've done our fact find. Now we're going into our sourcing. So we're going to jump into existing health and protection. So we can add an existing health and protection product. And for this, we're going to select Vitality, for example. However, if you type in here, it will come up with who you need. So I just put in Bupa. Okay, so my existing private medical insurance policy is with Bupa. And my number is that, and it's a Bupa by you policy. Okay, great. Select product, private medical insurance, monthly premium, let's say it's £85. The policy start date is the 1st of August 2024, and therefore, oh no, around 23. And therefore it will be expiring on the 1st of August. So in this instance, I'm giving myself plenty of time to do a review. Underwriting type, moratorium. Let's say I've got a standard hospital list, full outpatient, and, or maybe I need to slow down, and £100 excess. Ooh, 1,000. Okay, so just to confirm what I just did, if I moved quite quickly then. So I created an existing health and protection product. I added my provider and the information that I have from my renewal documents. And then product type, I selected private medical insurance. That then brought up all of the information about private healthcare. And just fill it in accordingly. So hospital lists, outpatient limits, any additional benefits. If you've got anything else, so we've tried to be really broad here, so that we can pull off reports, essentially, is what we're going to be able to do for you guys. So if you want to know how many of your customers have got therapies, how many have got £100 excess, we can really easily tell that because we've standardized all of the fields as much as possible across all of the providers. And that's kind of our motivator behind it. And then additional notes. So in the additional notes, we could put anything else. So let's say full diagnosis, well, full outpatients, but whatever it is. So we can write in the additional notes. Again, this information as of next month will now be being pulled into our suitability letter. So ACRE by next month will create our suitability letters for us, and this information, as you can picture in your head, is going to all be pulled through into the demands and needs, so we don't need to do it again. Okay, so now you can see my existing policy. Employee benefits. Are there any employer benefits? I've just said no. I actually probably didn't need to tick that, but okay. And then remember to save as you're going through. They've got a lot better for this. When we first got on there, you had to save it all the time, whereas now you only have to save it every now and again. But I just have got really good into the habit again of just saving as I go along. Save. Okay, so next we're going to create the requirement. So we do not want to limit our review. And I would like to have private medical insurance because the NHS has long waiting lists. Okay. So I'm in requirements, and now I'm deciding my objectives, and I'm selecting that the policy that I want to do is a private healthcare policy. Okay, so are the needs already being met? Yes, they are, because we've already said I've already got a PMI policy. So this is now going to pull through into your demands and needs again. So it's going to put in that information that would be in your RPQ. And the reason for me wanting private medical insurance is because, as I said, the NHS has got long waiting lists or whatever it is, you know, your reasons. I think when I speak to people before, a lot of you guys have them already saved and you can just copy and paste them in, which is definitely an effective way of doing it. Okay. Sourcing, obviously, right now we can't source. However, completely confidentially, ACRE are working with providers and other companies on the sourcing. So at some point, hopefully soon. Oh, sorry, Adele. I can do another session with you when I get back from my holiday if you want as well. Anybody, if you want to go through them, we can go through them. So we're just in protection sourcing at the moment, and we're in requirements. But as I said, everything will flag under show missing. So when you go through and create this case for yourself, you'll be able to look for the sections on here. See, that says a 2 for recommendation. That's flagging to say you need to put something in this section. And you've got the tasks as well. Oh, sorry, go on in.
Also, Adele, don't worry, I'm recording it and we'll make it available so you can look at it and watch it. Sorry, Amy, just on your existing protection, did you show how to generate the RPQ if it's been replaced? So the little box down the bottom that says, is this policy to continue? If you tick no, that's what drops that paragraph into the RPQ, into the letter.
Existing health and protection.
Yeah. So you go into amend that, edit it. So when you get to the point of generating your replacement policy, your letter at the bottom, should the client keep this policy, that paragraph that I showed you on the slide is generated by clicking no. Obviously, at this moment in time, you don't have the suitability letter being generated from here, but that's what will create that paragraph when you do. So that's because if you're doing a replacement policy and you're not doing a replacement policy questionnaire, then you need to have that paragraph in your letter at the moment, and then in the ACRE letter once that's done. But that's how you do it.
A link to that. Yeah, okay. So so as Aidan said, on the existing product, I've put no, we don't want to keep the policy. But it wasn't a mandatory field as well. So if you are messing around with things, you know, potentially recommending different products and you're backwards and forwarding, and you are actively using this as your CRM system, you can go in and alter it at a later date as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're in sourcing, so we're in the sourcing section of the flow. We've done our requirements, so we've done our objections, and now we're going to create our product. So on the left-hand side, under protection sourcing, you want to find products. Okay, so now we can click add a manual product. So we're going to add to this policy a vitality policy, let's say, because that's now what I'm going to recommend. So I'm going for a vitality policy. I just can't remember what they're called, so I'm going to leave product name blank. And it's now £75. So I've managed to save a massive £10 a month. With the policy number, if you actually don't put it in here, I'll leave it blank actually. If you don't have it at this point, I'll show you how to add it later on. And my start date is 1st of August 2024. You don't have to put an end date in here either. So at the moment, you don't have to add an end date. And then the benefits. So the policy that I'm obviously doing for myself is a private medical insurance policy. My underwriting is now going to be continued moratorium with standard hospital lists again, full outpatient again, and I've gone for £100 excess again. Still, any notes that we want to add, we can add into the note section. You know, as I said, toggle on and off any additional benefits, but that is going to create your product for you. So now we've got the product here, we can go in and look at the details on it at any point, and I can go in and add my documents. So the 4 documents that we're associating to the product is the application form, the illustration, the key facts, and the policy letter. We have got a couple of naming convention kind of differences here, which again is actually in that cheat sheet that that Andrew just asked about. So it is actually in there with the different names of all the different ways that we call the same document in our whole industry. And if anybody wants to start a conversation about whether it's a demands or a needs or a suitability letter, then take it offline. So we're going to go through into our documents and we can upload the application form. So I've got them saved on my desktop, so I can just upload it. It's already called it the document type for me, and I upload it. So protection sourcing, and I'm in my products. So for example, if you did at this point recommend a vitality policy, go away and come back, it's all saved and it's already at this point for you as well. So again, you can just go into details and then carry on uploading your illustration, whatever it is. So we can here as well. So say now, for example, I've got my final premium, I've got my policy number, we can go in and I can add it. So it's still £75 and my policy number is now this. My start date and all of that information is all in there within my product. And then the initial commission, we can add at, let's say it's £700. There is a section down here about renewal commission. My recommendation would be to not complete this, because obviously the renewal, you don't know the amount of renewal commission because the premiums increase every year. So in my head, that's why I would not be adding renewal commission in here. Whether it's renewal commission or initial commission, I don't think this matters at this point. You want to be storing it in initial commission amount. And then save it. And then I'll upload my KFD. Again, as I said, so in that guide that Bipin's put into the chat, it does explain to you about what's the requirements, but there's no difference. Yeah, Michael, exactly right. So on a renewal, you just upload all of them as the same document. So I just upload my renewal document into them all. Policy letter is the confirmation terms. So the policy letter is the acceptance terms from the provider. Okay, so you want to upload and then add into here the policy letter and upload. So my product now is all looking very lovely. I could have potentially thought, have I forgotten any of my documents? And then at this point, if I open the bar on the right-hand side, it's going to tell me what do I need to do next. So it's saying I need to recommend my products, I need to complete my suitability report, and I need to clear my vulnerability flag. So to clear the vulnerability flag, either you can click here in the taskbar. If you click into it, it will take you to it. Or if you go into your overview at the top, you've got your case flag.
Click on write another review. And then you would just put in the details that you would normally put in to demonstrate how you've cleared it. So the things that you would write on your wellbeing checklist, give it a hug, and then no further review required. Save the review and then clear the flag. Because at the moment you are able to continue with your business even if there is a potential vulnerability. You just have to document it. That's the process that you just document it in. You still need to do your customer wellbeing checklist, but you need to go through that process to clear the flag.
Again, so now I can jump into my tasks. So my current task is telling me that I need to recommend my product. So again, either here I can click and I can jump into that section, or I can use the left-hand side and I can find recommendation. So these section here at the moment, we just need to put no for them all and just leave it clear. This is because it's going to generate the suitability report. The suitability report will be for August, ready to go. So they haven't been able to do it in time for us to get started on it. But at this point, in recommendation details, we just put no for them all and then save. But as you can see, it's building a really clear picture of what will be your demands and needs, your suitability letter. So next, we're going to recommend the policy. So I've got here my policy that I've got at the moment, and then I've got my current policy. And I'm going to click Actions, Recommend. So that is now recommended to my customer. I can look in the details section and see all the information. The client's got all of the information they need in the client portal with all of their documents, and it all looks lovely for us both. The next section, we just need to jump into the suitability. So as I said, the suitability letter at this point is not finished yet, so we can't use it, but we have got to add it and then overwrite it. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So we go into here, make sure all of the sections that are required have got information in them, so that you can move on to the next page. And then save the changes. And publish the report. No, I don't want to send it into the for a signature and then publish report. So now this will have done my suitability letter and it would have popped it into the document section for me. As you can see, there's actually quite a lot of information in it. So what I've been told, some of the other guys that do it just have been copying and pasting this information and putting them into their demands and needs, because there's still quite a lot of information that's being pulled through. It's just not complete yet. So if you do want to do that as a little time saver, then it has already done it. So you can copy and paste it out of here into our new letter for us. But once we've gone and done our demands and needs letter, we need to upload the demands and needs, and we're going to call it now imported suitability report. So the imported suitability report will replace in the client portal the suitability report that has been created for us, so that everybody can all see it as the correct document, and upload. So now if I was in the client portal, this is the demands and needs letter that I would want to see. If anybody is really looking forward to using the client portal, I have quite a lot of advisors that are already on it and are really, really, really loving it. But if you don't want them to see a document, say you uploaded something in there that was incorrect, you can open the document up, and then in the document type, you click it, and then you can change it to, sorry, my screen's gone wrong size. You can change it to internal. Normally you can just type it in, but I don't know what's my, I think because I've tried to zoom in so everyone can see it, it's gone funny. But you can change it to internal. So now that's not going to show that document in the client portal. And save the changes. Okay. Again, other documents that we might want to upload, we might want to upload the fact find, so we can just upload that. And then we can upload customer wellbeing checklist. So that's going to be the big one that, hold on, if I show you. Now it's asking me to upload the customer wellbeing checklist into the document. So you've got the customer wellbeing and the application form, because obviously I just archived the application. So I'll upload my customer wellbeing assessment. And this section here in the documents type is very intuitive. So if you type in part of a word, it's still going to come up.
Just to interrupt you there, Amy, sorry. It's really, really important that you only call it wellbeing assessment and you select it as Amy just did, because that will automatically make it an internal document.
Yeah, so your client won't be able to see the customer wellbeing assessment. Are everybody happy in the chat?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I'm just going to go quickly back into the product and re-upload the application form because I just removed it. Okay, so I've got all my product in here. Everything feels like it looks like it's all confirmed. I'm feeling very confident that everything's all confirmed. I do know a couple of the advisors get bank details. So if you have got your bank details, then you can put those in there as well and keep them for every year. And then application submitted, I'm going to confirm it. And now I want to complete my case. So when I complete my case, it's going to just check with me, right, am I definitely paying £75? Yeah. Policy number's correct. Yeah. The start date is the 1st of August. Brilliant. This is my commission. And I click next, and then it's asking me, do I want to set a reminder for next year? So I do want to set a reminder for next year, PMI review, and then I'm going to set it for 1st of July. So I remember to contact them a bit earlier this year than the 16th of July. Okay, so, and then add reminder. Ooh, very factual. And add a reminder for myself and complete the case. So now it's all completed. I can pull off reports on my completed cases, and I can view the different cases as they are like that. Okay, so that is a review for a existing switch business for private medical insurance, adding it all onto the case. So it is a very quick and easy, very easy to use. You can also, if you go down here on the left-hand side, you've got a couple of extra sections. So we've got the accounting, so that's looking at the commission that you'll be getting from it. And then you've got the notes. If you add the notes, if you're using Acre as a full CRM system, or you want to get into a position where you're using it as a full CRM system, if you save your notes as emails, phone calls, you can pull off reports on how many times you've called a client. You can pull off reports about just the emails. So if I start adding notes here and then adding emails, I can filter it by the emails that I've sent my client versus the notes that I've written versus the phone calls that I've made. And I would say to just copy and paste an email in there if that's kind of how you want to start using the system. Okay, so that's everything done for a individual PMI case on Acre. Okay. So next, I'm going to go through a business policy. So as I said before, we can either search for our client in the search bar. So if I'm looking for the right mortgage, I've got the right mortgage business in here that I could jump into. Either I can jump into that client and add a case the same way that we did before, or I can go into my cases and create a new case. So cases, create new case. So next, this time for a business policy, so this is a business PMI policy, you can click create a case type, and then you want to go to business protection. Okay, so case type, business protection. Next, it's going to ask you, is it a limited company or not? If it is not a limited company, then you can just create the client. Say, for example, it's a sole trader. You can just add the client in there. If it is a limited company and we start searching it, it's going to look on Companies House and find the information about the company. So if I do the right mortgage, it's going to now come up with the 6 directors in the company name. Again, we always, at this point, or unless if you're using it as a lead management system, I would always recommend to set this to start the status as pre-recommended and set the fee scenario as 0 fee. Okay, so now I've put my company name as the right mortgage. I've got my business as the right mortgage, and it's uploaded for me 6 directors. Obviously, I am not going to talk to all 6 of those directors, if any of them. So I'm going to create my case. Again, it's asking you the initial disclosure questions and confirm. Okay, so now I've got my business case. Again, the setup is exactly the same. So it's going to look and feel the same, but obviously it's going to prompt you more towards a business policy. So the first thing that we're always going to do is go into case details and answer the questions about, is it introduced and have I seen them face to face? Yes, I've seen them face to face. No, it's not introduced. And go next. Okay, so there's a lot going on this screen right now. So I'll try and zoom in. Hopefully everybody can see that. So I've got my right mortgage case. And then I have actually already created a right mortgage case. So this is how good the system is, where because I've already created a business case for the right mortgage, it's pulled through all of the information that I've already created. So it's not going to duplicate the client. It's found it and now it's showing it me here. So I don't want to have all of these directors because I don't talk to them. I only talk to Eva, who's our head of HR. So I can just go through and close off, confirm, yeah, delete, and delete each director out. You will, in this relevance person section here, you will need either a director or a director of significant control. Sorry. So here you will need either a director or a person of significant control of the business to be able to suffice it as okay. If they are not a person of significant control, they are a regular client. Regular client. You will need a director as well in there, but you don't need any information for that director. The group admin. that is Eva in this case. So she is the person of significant control. And we just want to delete off the other directors. So, and that's how we do. It's really, really easy to just delete them off. We just remove them, and now they're not going to be saved anywhere. So you can see here. So we will have to fill in this information. Obviously, it's completed because the address comes through from Company's House. It does not know there's 60 employees at Right Mortgage. No. And then the company information. And then if I scroll across the top, I've got Eva, who's the HR person. I can go in, save her contact details in there. And what I've actually done for Eva in here, which you can see, which I don't actually think you do need yet. Hold on. The nice thing with Acre as well, if at any point it's kind of not doing what you want it to do or things are frozen out, because it is web-based, just refresh the page at the top. It almost always kind of sorts it out when it's having a bit of a moment, where obviously with the key you'd have to potentially close it down, then you'd potentially, you know, be an hour later, you might be able to open it back up. Okay, so for address history, like I said, so in this section here, I have put in the office address because let's say she isn't actually on the policy, for example, and then I can just save that, and then it's just going to remove that need to have the 3 years address history. So where you want to have this is the registered address. So the address that they've got from Company's House. Again, so you can change these now. So that can be a regular client and not a significant control, as long as I've got that director on there. But now this is very clear that anybody that comes in and looks at this case knows that Amanda's the director that supports Eva on the private medical insurance policy. Really nice and easy to be able to see. Okay, and then we're going to go down. So as I said before, you've got your show missing toggled on, so you can see that we don't need the ID verification at this point. We don't need any of the credit or the properties. It's all ticked, and we can jump straight into the products. So when we go into the products now, we can add a product exactly the same way we would do for an individual. So we're going to add the product information, and then let's say it's £500 a month. Policy number is some numbers, and the start date is 1st of August. And here we've got a couple of different options. So I thought this was actually quite interesting. So the way that they've built this is, so you've got group private medical insurance. So you can add that on as a benefit. If you select just private medical insurance, that's if you've got a business that's paying for one person's private medical insurance on a personal basis. I thought that's actually a really nice explanation of that. You can add multiple benefits as well. So you've got here one product, which is the private medical insurance, which can be your category 1. And then here you've got your category 2. So you've got your different options as well, which you can remove and add on as and how you please. And then in exactly the same way, we're just going to go through and add the information about the cover that they have. So then we've got, there it is. And save and close. So we've created our private medical insurance policy for the business. Again, the client's covered is shown, and then you can just click into details. And as before, we just want to upload on the documents. We've got a nice, clear, easy overview with the details that you've collected in there. And then the initial commission is £2,000. Again, with the suitability, this one looks a little bit easier. So if I just recommend my policy. And I can check all times, have I got any more tasks? Do I need to do anything? And it's telling me that I've forgotten to click whether it was an introduced client or not. So I'm just going to click that and then go back into there, and it jumps straight into that page that you need. So again, the same thing here. So we can just publish the report. No, we don't want to send it, but you can see here, we can send it to Eva via the client portal as well, or we can send it to Eva and Amanda. So there's lots of kind of ability to be able to build the company exactly the way you want it. But I'm going to put no, I don't want to, obviously, at this point. Yeah. So John, here, the tasks here, they're just, they should look exactly the same as they do for individual private medical insurance. So they're just in the process of sorting that out today. That's on the list of things that they were supposed to sort out for today. However, obviously they have not managed to do that. There's a nice little thing as well. So here's all of your tasks, but if you click review mode on, it will take you into review mode. So you can go into your preferences, verification, sorry, and you can see what you need to do and what you've already done as well. So that's a really nice way of just going through and checking, yep, I've done all of my jobs on this one. But I will
turn review off.
Oh, I was like, I can't find my product. There you go, turn on review off. Okay, so go into your products, and then I'm just going to upload my documents. Again, as per the key, exactly the same scenario. If you upload, if there isn't an application form for that provider, Anoop has a list of all of the providers that don't have application forms. He knows there's nothing's going to have changed there. Nothing's going to have changed your actual process that you do. It is just obviously getting used to new document names and things like that. Everyone's going to know how to upload documents. So now I'm going to use my task to confirm that the application has been submitted, and I'm going to complete the case. So again, the same box comes up when you complete the case to say, blah, 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 confirm all of the information is correct. I personally wouldn't put in the renewal commission, but you can do if you want to. I'm sure you will be able to go in and change it. So review type. So this will set the reminder in your calendar so that you know to call them next year. And I'm going to do it in June. And then you can change the time here as well. So you can work it for however you want to. And you can, if you're working as, a team, you can put in a group reminder, or you can just do it that, okay, Amy, Gary is going to do this one. Okay, and set the reminder. And you can set that reminder to admins as well. So if anybody wants to set the reminder to an admin so that they pick up the initial phone call, then you can do that and then mark the case as completed. As I said before, you've got your note sections at the bottom, which I would welcome everybody to use as much as possible. And you can go in and obviously create any new clients that you want. So if you want to go into the Right Mortgage and then now you're going to recommend another policy or something else, then you can access it from here as well. And sorry, let me go back to that. So you've got the Right Mortgage. This is my Right Mortgage case that I've created, and I can go into either cases on the left-hand side, or if you go into active cases, view all. So these are the active cases that I am working on at the moment. If I click into view all, you will see the cases that you've already done. So your cases that have been pulled in from the key will be in here. that's where they'll be saved. Any questions about anything else?
Don't go off your screen. Can I ask you to point a couple of things out that
Yeah, of course, go for it.
PMI only advisors may not have seen, but we point out on the mortgage
Yes.
courses? So just across the top on the reminders, that's where obviously all the reminders that you set will go. And then you literally can click on that and you can edit or source in any order that you want. So you can select different case types, etc. So that's where all your reminders will live. I'm going to go there now. Can we edit company name details? I'm assuming you mean companies that you drag in from company's house. Yes, you can. It's a fact find, so you can go in and change things if it's appropriate. But what you also
can go in and change the address as well.
Yeah,
so you can. People were talking about the different addresses. You can go in and change the address on the business.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so over on the top right hand side, you'll see on Amy's you've got a little A right at the top right hand corner. That should be the first letter of your username. So mine would be A, Amy's is A, Bippin's will be B, yours will be whatever your first name is. And this is where you will go to set things up and also report any problems. So if as you're using the system, you get an error message across the bottom, you may notice one or two on Amy, she got a black error message across the bottom. If you get that, leave that screen as it is, come up to the letter at the top and click on report a problem. So can you just do that for me, please, Amy?
Yeah.
And then in here, literally just put as much information as you possibly can. But as you know, when you send things through to IT departments, quite often they'll ask for all of this information over 5 or 6 emails. And then right at the bottom, if Amy just scrolls down to this box, right at the bottom, and after you've had 4 or 5 emails, they'll say, oh, can you send us a screenshot? Well, generally speaking, you've probably gone off that screen. So if you get an error message, click up on the top right, click on that box that says report a problem, fill in as much as you possibly can, take the screenshot and then submit it. That's only for system errors. If you need any support or anything, we're going to give you an address at the end of the session today. Okay, if Amy clicks off that, I'm feeling a bit thingy here because I'm a control freak and I normally have control. And then she goes back up to the A up at the top corner. So we were up here, mine's T because it's a test environment. And just a couple of things in here. For the principals, this is where you'll set up your company settings. So you'd go in and you'd put your logo and the color you wanted the portal to be if you were using it. And then finally up here as well, you've got the knowledge base. Is if you go into the website and you go into technology and then ACRE support, on here there's lots and lots of guides. And again, relevant to different things. That's what the knowledge base screen looks like. So if you go in there, there's lots of videos and you can type in the search bar anything that you're looking for. And also if you scroll down, you've got all sorts of different Q&As that we've had from all of the sessions that we've done. And the guide, I think Bippin put the link into the chat for this before. But if you haven't taken that link or if you didn't get the link, then the how to add PMI to ACRE lives here. So in the technology, in ACRE support, and then scroll down. We're going to talk about logging your CPD, etc. in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so up here on a case, any case will do, because I don't know if I've got a PMI case on here.
Oh,
So
Aidan, as well, can you show how to change the names on here as well? Sorry.
Oh, these here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only at firm level, isn't it?
Most people here will be
Yeah,
AR.
yeah. No is the short answer because this is not a
Oh,
firm level.
sorry.
But here you will have the opportunity to edit these names, and these here you can change that are more appropriate from PMI. I'm not really sure what else you would change them from. Pre-recommendation, pre-application, you might change them.
Yeah, and then I just have in-force in my offered section.
Yeah, in here that's probably the only one you would change. Those of you that have principal access, it's because this is a test advisor. Those of you that have principal access, you'll have the opportunity to edit the fields here. And then when you click on it, you can rename these fields. You're probably only going to name the offered one to enforce. The others are all pretty much the same, but you can rename them to whatever you feel is appropriate. But be aware it will rename them for the whole firm.
And as well, so this is showing board view, which is basically essentially your front page of the key. So that's existing cases that you're working on. But if you go into along the top, it says all cases. So if you click on all cases, that should show everybody. So if everybody's wondering about clients moving over, this is how you're going to find them. And you need to go into the status section and tick completed and imported completed. So they'll show you all your existing clients. So Aidan, if you just jump into one anyway, into the client level, not the case level.
Okay.
Yeah. So say you've got your business. So your business page will look exactly like this as well. And then for a renewal, you'll just go onto the left-hand side and then documents. Yeah. And then upload your demands and needs letter that says demands and needs, no, like non-advised or demands and needs, or just your renewal. And then the renewal documents if they've just renewed with the same provider.
I haven't got one of those, but when you go to your documents over here on the right, the little cloudy arrow, and then upload it from wherever you've stored it. Okay. Was that all you wanted to show in here?
Yeah, Richard's asked for support. Richard, we've got loads and loads and loads of support. We know everybody's going through the same thing. There is an element of we're currently almost complete. So as of today, I believe of the 800 advisors we have, I think in total we've got something like 950 users on Acre at the moment. We have moved over, we're into like the 900. So there is an element of, there's a lot going on. But we've got Bippin, who is the Acre champion for private medical insurance. So Acre's really been kind of pushing your corner, making sure that they're making changes that they need to make, learning the system inside out. So you can book in a one-to-one with Bippin if you want, and you can go through, if you save up some of your cases that you've got to do, you can go through them with her on a one-to-one. We've got the Acre at the Right Mortgage email address, which is who I would email if you have any error messages that pop up or whatever, things like that. Or not necessarily error messages, maybe like system issues. So like if you forget how to do a renewal or something like that, then maybe you could email into them. They have a phone number as well. And I'm going to put it into the chat in case of if everybody is on Facebook. So you will see it already. We have a Right Mortgage community page on Facebook. And there has been a lot of Acre questions in there. So I'll do that now. I'll share this with everybody. So anybody that's got Facebook, I'd really recommend just coming into here. Copy the link. Yeah, and it's a really nice opportunity. Everybody's kind of very chatty in there. Everybody's kind of asking for help, asking, and there are Right Mortgage people in there, obviously, but there's other advisors in there as well. So I think somebody posted on Saturday morning an Acre issue, and somebody had replied back almost straight away with the answer to it. So that is really nice kind of way to be able to communicate with people if you have got Facebook.
Okay, we might as well go through if everybody's okay. We don't really need to take a comfort break. We've almost finished, to be fair, so we might as well crack on and go through. There's a couple of things I wanted to just share with you, so I'll share my screen again, and then again, Amy can pick up any of this if she feels that it's slightly different because I know your business area, everybody, is not that it doesn't run in the same way that the mortgage business area runs. So again, if there's anything slightly different here, Amy will pick it up where it's appropriate and she'll come in and tell me. But basically what you should be aware of now is your business, you're live on Acre. Your business should now go on to Acre, but we also accept that you're not going to dive onto Acre tonight and go, right, I'm an expert on this, let's put everything on Acre. So we know there will be a transition period. What I've been saying to all of the other advisors, and Amy's right, we've got 2 sessions left this week, and then we've pretty much done all of the advisors to introduce Acre to them. What I've been saying to the advisors is, obviously, the quicker you get onto this, the better. The quicker that you start to do this, the better. But we're not saying that you have to do it this afternoon. We would expect you to be able to start to put your cases on there and be comfortable within a week. So please try to put your cases on Acre today if you're really, really comfortable. And if you're not, try and get really comfortable within a week. So we don't really want people putting cases on the key any longer than that sort of time frame. I know there will be individuals on the call that don't necessarily want to ask right at this time, and I get that. There will be individuals on the call that need a bit more support, and we'll give you that support. But if everybody can try and aim for getting their business on acre today, if you can, but within a week, that would be perfect. You will, Mortgage Brain, Trigold, etc. is not appropriate to you guys. I know that because this is just a slide we use on all of the training. You're going to retain your existing key license for up to 4 months. Again, I don't know if Amy's negotiated anything slightly different to that, but everybody else is obtaining their key license for up to 4 months. And that's to manage things through that you've got. I know your business is quite quick. When you put it on there, it tends to go on risk quite quick, but there will be some that will be waiting for underwriting, etc. So once you've managed all of your cases through, 4 months should be fine for the majority of you. If you stop putting them on the key as soon as you can, you should have plenty of time to manage that through. Your data that's transferred across from the key will only be data. There won't be any documents. So if you need to get documents for whatever reason, I don't know whether you would or wouldn't, but if you need to get documents for any reason, you need to get them now. And if you want to maintain a read-only license for the key, which probably you won't because you guys didn't use it as extensively as the mortgage brokers, it wasn't really set up for PMI. If you want to keep a read-only license, you can. That's a contract direct with you and Mortgage Brain, and it's £6 per month, and it is a read-only license. Before you start perhaps thinking, oh my God, all my documents are on the key, etc. If you've downloaded documents from somewhere like 4C into a client folder and then uploaded them to the key, you're going to have them in the client folder. So you may not need to go to the key. So it may or may not be as great as a bigger problem as it sounds. If there's any clients missing, there are a few reasons. One is that the date of the cutoff of what we've uploaded your data, and I think that shows on your imported clients. That date might be that some clients have not been picked up if they were input after that. And also if the policies have not been completed. So if they're still in the process of being completed, they'll still be on the key. If there's any particular individuals that you're missing, we will be doing a mop-up later on in the year. So just keep a quick note of them that you know you're missing and just check that they come through in the mop-up. Okay. So let's show CPD. I'm assuming I'm sharing my screen. Tell me if I'm not. So when you're logging your CPD, at the moment, you log it onto the key. We don't want you to do that any longer. So the CPD for today that you're going to go dive off the call and log, please log in the advisor site. So when you go into the advisor site, you will cross to the right-hand side. Oops, I've gone forward on that. Go across to the right-hand side on the advisor site. And if you click on training and then log CPD, this form will pop up so that you'll be in this screen. And when you click on log CPD just here, this form will pop up. Complete the form and submit. That's literally all you need to do. So the date, obviously, that the CPD was carried out, so that will be today's date. The hours, can you pop them in, please, in complete hours? I don't mean just round hours. So if you've done half an hour, 0.5. If you've done an hour and a half, 1.5. It's just that obviously it's calculating that in hours rather than hours and minutes. CPD type, there's a drop-down box. Choose from that drop-down box. If that's not applicable to the CPD that you've done, there's the option to choose other. Choose other, and then pop in your learning outcomes, what you've got from the particular structure of the CPD, what you've got from the day, what you've learned. And then finally at the bottom here, click structured or unstructured. So you just click on the drop-down, choose structured or unstructured, and then submit it. Okay, once you've submitted it, it will log in there for you. Your existing CPD and this CPD is accessible by your compliance manager, so you're not going to lose any hours that you've already put in. They can get that from the key, and then this will now drop underneath that report for them. If you want to see what you've logged in here, if you click on log CPD, it'll show you a sort of a running total of what you've done in the particular website. Okay, and again, where we went earlier on about the guide for putting PMI on acre, there's a guide to adding your CPD as well, and it's really straightforward. Literally go into the advisor site, across the training, log CPD, fill the form in, submit it, and that's all you need to do. Okay, Amy talked about the
sorry, I was just going to say the knowledge base is working now. So if you want to demo it,
okay,
I've just spoken to Nicola.
I'll go back in a second, yeah, and I'll show you that in a second. But that link that's on there, that URL, is to the knowledge base, but you need to be logged into Acre in order to access the knowledge base. So I'll show you where that is in a second. There's the phone number that Amy was talking about, and there's the support, acre@therightmortgage.co.uk. I would suggest that you email rather than call, because there are 12 or 13 champions that are monitoring that mailbox, and they won't all necessarily be able to answer the phone. Yes, you're welcome to call, but I think you'll probably get a much quicker response if you send an email in. Okay, so let me just stop sharing that, and I'll go and open my Acre again, and then we'll have a look at where the knowledge base lives.
Just while Aidan's doing that, just to confirm with commissions, we know that you have annually renewable policies. We know that as a network. We understand that it's how you're paid, and we understand that you need to pay your bills as well. And just because we're moving CRM systems doesn't mean that anything should change on that. The commissions team are brilliant. Matt Salmons, who I know some of you love, some of you maybe not so much, but generally everybody loves him. He is the Acre champion for commissions department. So he is the one championing it, like trying to get everybody through and working with people as well. So this is where we have been being trained on this system as a business, as staff. We've been being trained on it now for 3 or 4 months, 5 months, depending on who we are, so that we can help you as much as possible. Everybody knows where to find things. Everybody will be helping you as much as possible. So if you notice anything, let us know. If you're worried about things that are coming up or cases that are coming up that you know you're going to be paid it by this date, and you just want people to check it, email Anoop compliance, email BIPIN, and we'll get it looked at. We'll get it looked at first, so that everything's all kind of done and sorted. So please don't worry about the commission side of it. Okay,
brilliant.
sorry,
No. Is my screen sharing, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, so back onto your dashboard and back up to this little letter up the top here. I just really wanted to show you the knowledge base, because there's a lot of stuff in there. Some of it I appreciate is not going to be relevant to you, but a lot of it will as well. So if you just go in there and you're looking for anything in particular, some of it's obvious: client portal, suitability report, but training videos, that's a bit broad. There could be all sorts of training videos in there. So you can just go up and use the search function. I would suggest, because Amy's been doing a lot of the work around PMI and she's been working with Acre, that you get your guides from regarding PMI from the website, because Amy's working with making sure that Acre have the correct information on here relating to PMI, because we accept not every network has the same expertise that we have around PMI and around other types of business. But in here, if you want to understand anything around the fact find, around the client portal, around anything document management, how you upload things, etc., it is initially predominantly mortgage protection focused, but Amy is working really, really hard on getting the stuff that's on our website into here as well. So just be aware of the two platforms and go and use them as they're appropriate to you and your individual business. One thing I want to try and reassure everybody with this is, I say this right at the beginning of all of the training that we're doing: do not change your business model, what you do well on a day-to-day basis. Do not change your business model to suit Acre. Okay, this is no different from what you do now. So you do your IDD, you do your fact find, you do your research, you present to your clients, you make your recommendation, you submit your application, you upload all the relevant documents, and you upload your suitability letter. You're just putting them in a different place at this moment. Over a period of time, and because of the work Amy's putting in, it'll be quite a short period of time, I believe. Over a period of time, it will all be integrated. So your fact find will be on here, your sourcing will be on here, your suitability report will be on here. And those of you that have multiple authorizations will know that as you do your fact find, you can start to construct your suitability report. PMI is a very, very individual subject. So Amy's doing a lot of work behind the scenes to fit our PMI into Acre so that it works for you. But don't get too stressed about it. Think about it as it's a different system that you're putting the stuff on, but you're doing exactly the same as you do now. And it has benefits as well. Okay. like the uploading from Company's House, etc. There's lots and lots of more benefits. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done on there from the point of view of showing you the knowledge base, going through everything. I know that's been a whistle-stop tour. We have recorded it. We will look at it and edit out all of the things that went wrong and all of that lot so that you don't have to sit and listen to that. You don't have to sit and Amy and I wondering why Acre's not working and the screen share's not working. We will edit all of that out. So before I carry on waffling, I'm going to stop the recording.